All right, welcome back to another Zero Downtime podcast. How you doing today, Logan?
Doing well, John.
All right. Well, we got a good show today, I think.
Ooh, we're back to good.
I gotta throw a curveball in there every once in a while. All right, so today we're going to talk about a frontier without an ecosystem is not stable. So Microsoft kind of went on a wild tangent the other day on X talking about AI. And so I thought it was interesting, and I was going to include it in this episode. Fox buys Roku for $22 billion. We're going to talk about why Fox would think it's a good idea to buy Roku. Anthropic is getting sued over Claude Max usage limits, and I think this is a good thing. Anthropic pulled Claude Fable 5 at 5:30 p.m. on Friday night. We're going to talk about why they did and why I think it's baloney. The UK just banned social media for under 16-year-olds, with some exceptions. And I think you're going to find that why I think this is stupid goes far beyond 16-year-olds into adults. So we're going to talk about that and why I think the UK is a little dystopian. All right. Arch Linux can't catch a break. Aother supply chain attack hits the AUR, which is their package repository. For the meme of the day today, we've got Iowa, and it says, feeling cute, might go through all 4 seasons in a week. I don't know. I saw that and thought, you know what? That was funny.
It does fit.
Yeah. Well, it was cold last weekend.
It was beautiful.
Oh, man. I'm not saying it wasn't nice. But it was fall temperatures in summer. Yeah. Very uncommon.
It is uncommon, but it was wonderful to be outside.
I thought for sure it was going to rain.
Oh, we were at Emory's softball tournament in Lamar's.
Yeah.
Dumped.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. I enjoy.
She might have thought differently.
I enjoy you getting rained on. That's funny. So you didn't go to Flag Fest then?
We were gone.
Yeah, I didn't go to Flag Fest either. I stopped going to Flag Fest basically because
after you stop driving the
when
cars
when you're a Shriner, it's sort of like being a butcher. Once you see how your steak's made, it just loses all glory.
I had heard that good turnout. The parade was huge.
Yeah. I drove through town about 6:30 in the morning. They already had chairs set out. People had already set out chairs and stuff.
Dedication.
On Grand. Yeah.
You got to get a good spot.
Yeah. They like in the center of the road, they already had their stuff set up. Like, they got the trees are.
Yep.
Yeah. They already had stuff all set out, blankets laid out. Nobody was there.
They're just saving their seat.
But they're saving their seat for the parade. Yeah. Anything else going on last week?
I don't think so. We actually didn't have to, for the first time, really go travel.
So that was nice.
Yeah, but that was just a day there, day back.
Did you go to Bob's?
No, we went to Pease. That was good.
Oh, that's the barbecue place.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, then you didn't pick a good place.
They do have a barbecue place.
That barbecue place is awesome.
That looked awesome.
Oh, Pease Pizza.
Yeah.
Over in Alton.
No, it's in Lamar's.
Oh, they got one on Lamar's? Because there's another one of them.
I think there's multiple.
Basically, you went to a chain.
You and your chains. And then we couldn't leave Lamar's without going to the parlor.
Was that ice cream place?
Yes.
Oh, I suppose it's Lamar's.
Yes.
That's what
you can't go to Lamar's without eating ice cream, John.
I do.
Well, I don't.
I mean, when you have a big meal,
that's like a cardinal sin.
When you have the big meal over at Archie's and you just don't have any room for ice cream.
People were listing out the places to go eat, and they're like, "Well, Archie's is really good." I'm like, I can actually say I've been there.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about that in Clemens, that pizza place that we stopped at that one time.
Sumafu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could say I'd been there too.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, wow,
I'm
like the only one that can say I've been to all these places.
For some reason on my Facebook recently, I've been getting Iowa PBS, and it's different spots in Iowa. Not just restaurants, but other things.
Okay.
And they had Sumafu in, and not, I can't remember the name of the town, Kearney. Isn't it Carnes?
Carnes. I mean, it starts with a C.
It's Carnes.
I don't think it's Kearney.
Kearney's in Nebraska.
That's what I
Carnes
thought.
is in Iowa, so it's Carnes. Yeah.
So we almost stopped there, but then we went to Peace.
Yeah, I mean,
but the rest of the team was going there. So
the thing is that the pizza's good.
Yeah.
It's just different.
What do you mean?
I mean, like when you take kids to fancy pizza, it's like they don't respect it.
Yeah. It's a toss-up if Em would have liked it. I'm sure she would have.
Yeah, it would have been fine. It's just, it is good pizza. It's just kids don't respect 90 seconds to pizza. It's burnt. Right?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So interestingly, the other day, what's the dude's name? The dude who runs Microsoft, Satya Nadella. I'm just going to call him SN.
I love that you said that. Like I would be able to just tell you who runs Microsoft.
He wrote this really long story on Twitter, and it was an interesting read. And I'm just going to kind of break it down and go through it. But before what happened over like 2020, 2021, something like that, Elon Musk posted on X, OpenAI is going to eat Microsoft alive. And then SN replied back and said, people have been trying for 50 years, and that's the fun of it. Innovate, partner, and compete. Excited for Grok 4 on Azure and looking forward to Grok 5. So whether you think that's like the exchange is playful, strategic, or competitive, the message was clear. Is Microsoft doesn't see AI as a winner-take-all game. So it's what they're saying is that there's no one AI to rule them all. Okay?
Okay.
So like Claude doesn't win, OpenAI doesn't win, Copilot definitely doesn't win. SN basically expanded on the philosophy in a lengthy essay that I'm talking about right now that may be one of the most important statements we've seen from a major tech CEO about the future of artificial intelligence. He says the concept that will likely become business term over the next few years will be human capital versus token capital. So human capital is everything people know. People have experience, relationships, judgment, creativity, and domain expertise, right? Where AI has models, agents, workflows, knowledge systems, and reinforcement loops. The key argument is that AI doesn't replace human capital. Humans are still humans.
Yeah.
And humans need to be in the loop of AI.
I agree.
Yeah. So instead, human capital becomes the fuel that creates token capital. In other words, your company's competitive advantage isn't ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, Copilot, or whatever frontier model wins the benchmark race next year. It's the unique expertise of your people that feeds into the AI systems. So the real battle isn't models. This is where SN's statement gets really interesting. He argues what most companies are focusing on is the wrong question. Most executives today ask, what model should we use? His answer is, it doesn't matter nearly as much as people think. The real value actually comes from building a learning system above the models. So if your business depends entirely on one model provider, then you don't own the future. If you can swap OpenAI for Anthropic, Gemini, or Grok, or another open source model, you use Kimi would be one that's made by Alibaba.
Okay.
Without losing your institutional knowledge, you've built something useful. So the idea here is that you can take what your business is running on and move it between different AI models and not lose a step.
Okay.
So think of it this way. The AI model is the engine. The learning loop is the race car. Microsoft wants companies building race cars, not renting engines. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So why this matters for business. So for MSPs, software developers, law firms, healthcare providers, manufacturing, and virtually every other industry, this is a huge distinction. Since we're an MSP, or kind of like an MSP, let's use that as an example. Anyone can buy access to GPT-5 or Grok, right?
Yes.
Okay. But can they feed it years of support tickets, documentation, customer preferences, network diagrams, troubleshooting procedures, and tribal knowledge into AI that improves it over time?
Should they be?
Well, of course. That's the idea, is that you take this learning loop and that's what you shove into AI.
Okay.
And you should be able to take that to any AI. That's the engine that's powering the race car.
Okay.
But the knowledge is the actual car. So
Okay.
in racing terms, you can switch motors out and the car still performs. Right?
Thanks for giving me racing terms.
Well, I know you're a big fan of NASCAR.
Hey, I like going to NASCAR.
So the AI model becomes a commodity and the knowledge loop becomes the asset, the car, right? So Microsoft's real strategy, the exchange sort of became obvious when you read SN's essay. Many people assume Microsoft is betting everything on OpenAI. What he's actually saying is, we don't want a future where one model wins. That explains why Microsoft has been hosting competing models on Azure. So they host more than just Copilot. They support OpenAI. They work with XAI. I mean, He commented to Elon he's looking forward to hosting Grok 4 and Grok 5 on Azure.
Okay.
So I mean they're obviously hosting other models.
Yep.
They're supporting open source models. They're investing in model orchestration. They're building infrastructure rather than betting exclusively on one intelligence. And that's very different philosophy than most people out there that are talking AI think, right? Most people think like this model's going to win, when people should be saying all models win. It's what we put into the model that matters.
And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So a political economy warning. So perhaps one of the strongest sections of his statement is his warning about concentration of power, which I agree with 100%. And we're going to get into why that's important here when we talk about Anthropic shutting off Fable.
Okay.
So he compares AI concentration to the first wave of globalization, outsourcing, increased efficiency, and GDP, but many communities felt hollowed out. His argument is that if AI centralizes all value into a handful of model companies, society won't tolerate it. Well, and also the strong will always win.
Yeah.
Right. And then they can charge whatever they want. And so access to that super strong model, super good model becomes unattainable to normal people.
Correct.
So in his words, there's no societal permission for a future where a few AI systems capture all the economic returns while industries lose control of their knowledge. And that's a remarkable statement from a CEO of the world's largest tech company.
It is. I'm really impressed he put that out there.
So what this means for companies like A&P, like us. So for small companies, this is the most important takeaway. You don't need your own frontier model. Well, thank you. You need to own the data, workflows, institutional knowledge, and reinforcement loops around the model. So we have the customer tickets. We have how we solve our problems.
Correct.
We feed that to AI, and then AI helps us solve our problems faster. But
in the future for the next one, all right.
But it's our knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So if you build an AI system that learns from your tickets, emails, call logs, documentation, customer history, and internal processes, you're creating token capital, which is what we want, right? And so if SN is right, that's where the next decade's competitive advantage will come from. The exchange suggests a battle between OpenAI and Microsoft, but his essay suggests something very different. Microsoft appears to be positioning itself as an operating system of the AI economy rather than a sole intelligence provider, unless, of course, you're using Copilot. Instead of asking which AI model wins, he's asking who owns the learning loop, who owns the knowledge that's getting fed into AI. Because that's still something. I mean, with 154i, I mean, you hold the knowledge about building websites and what people are looking for when they are building a new website.
Yeah.
Right? That's the learning loop. And then you can harness AI to take your knowledge and expound on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you hold the initial capital.
Yeah.
So, and so who owns the learning loop? And that may be the most important question because if AI models become interchangeable commodities, the companies that own the knowledge, workflows, and feedback systems built on top of them may be the ones that ultimately capture the most value. So I always say, or I've always said in the past, that the people are always concerned that AI is going to take their job.
Yep.
Especially in white collar jobs, right? Where you sit at desks and you calculate numbers and you do all those things.
Yep.
I argue that the people that refuse to use AI will be out of a job because the people around them who are using AI are getting more done in a day.
Yeah.
But that's the learning loop. So they're feeding AI the knowledge they have to get the correct answers quicker.
Yeah.
That's my argument for why, for the most part, AI won't be replacing jobs, at least in our generation, to the extent that we were told.
Yeah.
Right. It will replace some jobs, unfortunately, but so did other things that were invented in society.
I'm sure when computers came along, they replaced some people.
Go back further. Did the milkman stop at your house today and drop off the milk for the day or for the week?
He didn't.
So, I mean, unfortunately, as time marches forward, jobs get replaced by automation and everything else. And that's happened since the beginning of time, probably since the beginning of money.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think it's interesting that, for a tech company who's invested probably billions in OpenAI, maybe Anthropic even, definitely OpenAI because I know Copilot is a subshoot of ChatGPT.
Okay.
But for somebody who's invested so much money in developing these models and all of that, it's interesting that he comes out and basically says, well, the models aren't useless. You're the most useful part of the model, and that's the value that the model brings.
I mean, I can appreciate that. That is his take.
Yeah, I think it's good, and I think for a large tech company like Microsoft to come out and say that,
Yeah,
I think that's important. Now, if they could take that learning loop and fix Windows, that would be great.
And here we are.
So I did this morning. I noticed an interesting bug on the iOS 26, whatever the latest 26 release is. So not the new 27. An interesting bug, and it has to do with dimming. Have you noticed this yet?
I don't think so.
So I was using it in the dark.
Okay.
So that might have come to it, but I've never had this problem before. So if you're on a screen that has a white background mostly, the screen will go really bright. And then if you scroll to a screen that has like a little bit darker, the screen goes dark.
Like you can't see anything.
No, you can see it. It just
Okay.
dims it. And then normally when your phone like cuts off the screen
Yeah.
to go dark, it dims first. It wasn't doing that this morning. It would be bright and then just shut off.
Did you get Apple on the phone?
I should. Give me Tim or whatever the new CEO's name is. I don't know what his name is either. I think his name's John. I don't know. It would be right if it was John though.
Yes, it would be perfect if his name was John.
So Fox bought Roku for $22 billion. I come across this article yesterday when I was building the show. So normally how I do this is during the week I bookmark different things that I find interesting.
Yep.
And if I don't have enough of those from the week, then I go to Google News and then I see what's interesting there.
Yep.
But this is one that I just came across yesterday
Okay.
when I was going through the list to make stuff for the show today. So, and I want to talk about why it's intriguing that Fox would want to buy Roku.
Well, I'm like surprised that they would want that.
I also want to start by saying Roku sucks. I have never liked Roku.
Ever?
No. I purchased their products. I've tried to use their products, but I feel
And what is wrong with their products?
I feel like their ecosystem of apps is awful. And the way that they kind of shoehorn developers in how they develop their apps is just awful. So like go to Roku and try to find an IPTV app. You won't, because Roku basically said no, because they want to control how you consume media.
Okay.
Whereas Fire TV, well, not so much the new Fire TV, but the old Fire TV that ran on Amazon, ran on Android. You could sideload apps and you could do IPTV. Now you can sideload Roku and you could build your own IPTV app. And there's probably other like things you can connect to get those.
Yeah.
But the ecosystem for apps sucks. Building apps for Roku sucks. And the whole point of Roku is shoving ads down your throat.
I mean, if you sit and watch the screen, you can just see little ads.
It's
as it
literally
drives through.
the whole point of Roku is shoving ads down your throat.
Well, I am here for it.
So you're a Roku fan?
I have it on every TV. I have.
Roku sucks. Even the Plex layout for like running Plex Media Server or whatever is different from every other platform.
Didn't you used to use Roku?
When
you used Plex originally,
I've tried Roku from the beginning.
Okay.
And every few years I get suckered in and I buy another one because it's $20 for a media streamer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cheap. I mean, I bought one the one time I forgot to bring my Amazon Fire Cube.
Okay.
When I travel, I take that with me.
Yeah.
And I forgot to bring it to Pennsylvania. And I was staying across the street from a Target, which I hate Target too. So, but anyways, I'm like, I get to Target and I'm like, okay, well, I can buy this Plex media streamer thing. And then I can I can buy this Roku media streamer and I could watch it in my hotel room. And I plugged it in and I'm like, I forgot why I hate these so much. I hate them.
Good to know.
Okay, so, but that's neither here nor there when it comes to what we're
let's
talking
move
about right
on.
now. So, all right, so it's one of the biggest media deals of the year. So $22 billion is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I would like a portion of that. Fox.
Just a little bit.
Fox. Send it this way.
Would you like to sponsor Zero Downtime?
Yeah, we have. After I just got done bashing Roku for about 10 minutes, would you like to sponsor Zero Downtime? I would actually feel bad for anyone that sponsored this because I would find a way to trash them accidentally. But I wouldn't be you. So if you're listening to the show and you want to sponsor, I would promise I wouldn't do it to you. Okay. Fox has announced it's acquiring Roku in a cash and stock transaction valued roughly at $22 billion. The move instantly transforms Fox from primarily a content company into a company that now owns both content and a major distribution platform. So for years, Roku has quietly become one of the most important companies in television. No. I mean, okay, fine.
I'm like, it's more... I always use it for a device to get to something else.
More than 100 million houses use Roku.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, so I guess it is a major distribution thing too.
I guess not everyone hates it like you.
More they're forced to.
Forced to?
So I bought a Roku TV. It's the one I have in my bedroom. I ended up...
You're telling me you are using Roku in your
house? Hold on. I didn't finish. I actually plugged an Amazon Fire Stick into it because I hated it so much. There you go.
Keep going.
So 100 million households use Roku devices, Roku TVs, or the Roku operating system to access streaming services. When many people think streaming, they think Netflix, Disney Plus, but Roku has often been the gatekeeper, which is true, that decides what viewers see when they turn on their televisions. So Fox already owns, some of these are pretty obvious, Fox News, Fox Sports, FS1, Tubi, and Fox Nation. It's adding Roku's operating system, advertising platform, and the Roku channel. So why would Fox want this? I mean, I already said it. It's pretty obvious. There's Roku in 100 million houses.
Yeah.
I mean, they can shove more ads down people's throat. 100 million of them.
Well, and I'm sure they could push their news and their other outlets directly just to be available.
Right. So historically, media companies created content and relied on cable companies, satellite providers, or streaming platforms to distribute it, to distribute the stuff, right? Did you know when cable first came out, there was no ads?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That was the whole point of cable TV. You're buying premium TV with no ads.
Granted, even now, if you're using a streaming device, most of the times you're still getting an ad.
Even the $3 Netflix plan has ads.
All of them have ads.
Yeah, that's stupid. So Fox is betting that the future belongs to companies that control both the distribution and the platform. Think about what Amazon did owning Prime Video and Fire TV. Think about Apple owning Apple TV Plus and Apple TV hardware. So the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Fox is now attempting something similar by combining its sports and news empire with one of the largest connected TV platforms in America. This also dramatically strengthens Fox's advertising business. Traditionally, television advertising has been declining for years, but connected TV advertising is one of the fastest growing segments in media. Roku has built an enormous ad business around streaming, and Fox wants a piece of that growth. So I mentioned before that Fox owns Tubi. Are you familiar with Tubi?
I'm not.
Okay. So Fox bought Tubi back in 2020 for $440 million. At the time, many analysts thought it was a niche acquisition. Today, free ad-supported television, often called FAST, free ad-supported television, fast streaming is one of the hottest sectors in media. So what Tubi essentially is free TV streamed with ads.
Okay.
So if you've got a Samsung TV, it's built into Samsung TVs.
Oh.
Not Tubi exactly. I think Samsung has their own.
They do, because when you turn it on,
streaming platform.
just starts playing.
Right. So Fox News controls both Tubi and Roku's ecosystem. Even if the services remain separate, Fox gains incredible leverage in the free streaming market. So the real story isn't just Fox and Roku. The real story is that the media companies are realizing content alone isn't enough anymore. Netflix controls distribution, YouTube controls distribution, Amazon controls distribution, and Apple controls distribution. Fox just spent $22 billion because it doesn't want to be dependent on someone else's platform. I guess.
I mean, that makes sense.
If you got the cash,
I mean, it's a lot of money.
If you're Rupert Murdoch's, you can afford to spend $22 billion in cash in stock. So what it means to consumers, honestly, probably not much in the short term. Roku is going to still run as Roku.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that, Fox's Roku channels are probably going to be a little more prevalent, like stuck up front.
Yeah, I think you'll see them right away.
Because, obviously it's cheaper for Fox to play Fox content.
Correct. You're not paying someone else.
Yep. So this isn't just Fox buying a streaming company. It's Fox buying the front door to millions of living rooms. The Murdoch family already controls some of the most watched news and sports properties in America. Now they're adding one of the largest operating systems in the world for the small price of $22 billion. Fox isn't just buying Roku. They're buying distribution, advertising, viewer data, and direct relationship with more than 100 million streaming households. And in the streaming wars, that may be more valuable than the content itself. Could you imagine, like, a couple of guys sitting around their garage having beers, being like, you know what we should build? We should build this operating system that delivers streaming, just content to people. Streaming is going to be the next big thing. There's, having their Busch Lights. And then now in 2026, they're at some restaurant eating steak, drinking bourbon after their $22 billion sale.
I love that you think they went to a restaurant.
I don't think they're probably doing a backyard grill. I know I wouldn't be. Actually, I was reading about Mark Cuban this morning. So back in the 90s, American Airlines had these tickets you could buy. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but for $125,000, it was an unlimited ticket. So you could just book a flight and not pay anything, and it was first class.
Okay.
Go anywhere, no blackout dates, nothing. $125,000 a person. Plus you could pay, I don't know, it was a little bit more, and you get a free guest pass too.
Okay.
Anyways, he sold one of his first companies, and then went out partying. He got drunk, and he called up American Airlines, slurred his way through it, and bought the American Airlines pass, with which they still honor today.
Really?
Yeah. Which he also has a private plane, so he probably doesn't need to use that. You can't gift it to anyone. One guy I was reading about, he would use the ticket to let other people fly, and they took it away from him.
I was like, I feel like I've heard you talk about how someone took advantage of it.
So have you ever been confused about how the hell Claude calculates your token usage by the day or by the week? I know you have, because we've talked about it before, so don't lie to me.
I was like, I don't know how anyone would know how it calculates.
Well, you're not alone, Logan. And so Anthropic is being sued over Claude Max usage limits.
And how are they going to prove how the usage was either given or taken?
So Anthropic is facing a new class action lawsuit that strikes at one of the biggest unresolved questions in AI subscriptions. When an AI company sells you a $200 a month premium plan, what exactly are you buying? Now, we know with OpenAI, with the $200 plan, it basically never stops.
Correct.
It gets shittier as it goes.
Yes.
But it never stops. Okay. So according to a lawsuit filed in federal court, Anthropic allegedly misled customers about the usage availability under the premium Claude Max plans. The plaintiff claims the company's Max 5X and Max 20X tiers failed to provide the level of access customers reasonably expected based on Anthropic's marketing. The lawsuit is seeking a class action status and refunds for affected subscribers. Anthropic has declined to comment, and the allegations remain unproven. Now, I'd love to get my $200 a month.
Sign me up.
$200 a month back, and the times that it, limited me out.
Yes.
Yeah. The complaint centers around Anthropic's Max plan, which costs $100 for the 5X and $200 for the 20X, and are marketed as providing significantly higher usage than Claude Pro, which is true. I don't know how you could deny that. The $200 plan and the $20 plan. Yeah. I max out the $20 plan. Basically, I'm always on the rev limiter on that one. The lawsuit argues that customers were led to believe they would receive roughly 5 or 20 times the usage capacity of lower tier plans, while actually limits were difficult to understand, according to the plaintiff, substantially lower in practice. And that's where the whole thing gets interesting. Netflix tells you exactly how many screens you get.
Yep.
Dropbox tells you exactly how much storage you get.
Yep.
But AI companies are increasingly selling access based on concepts like tokens, context windows, compute budgets, dynamic range limits, and rolling usage windows.
But even if they would show you like on a graph or anything like as it goes down, like there's nothing that indicates, and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah,
you're done.
Why did this one question or one thing that we were working on use significantly more than the other? They don't prove that to you right now. There's no way to know.
Do you think this will change the game on how people do their plans?
Well, most consumers have no idea like what a context window is. Right.
True.
So they purposely or unpurposely have confusing terms. Right?
Yeah.
So this is basically AI's unlimited data plan moment. We've all been through cellular unlimited data plans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you've obviously been around long enough. That feels familiar when cell phones advertised unlimited plans and they weren't actually unlimited, or when internet providers sold unlimited bandwidth but then throttled their heavy users. So the AI industry appears to be entering its own version of the debate. So companies are discovering power users can consume vastly more compute than average users. A casual Claude user may send a few dozen prompts a day. A software developer, on the other hand, can burn through millions of tokens and enormous GPU resources in a single afternoon. Sometimes when I'm going out to the brew house to go coding, I tell Kristen, well, I'm going to go heat up some GPUs. I'm a geek. All right. The economics become brutal very quick. So why is Anthropic under pressure? The lawsuit arrives after months of complaints from some Claude power users about rapid consume quotas, changing limits, and difficulty understanding how usage is calculated. User forums, GitHub issues, social media have been full of discussions about token consumption and rate limits. I believe I've even posted on Facebook and X about how shitty Claude's usage is.
It's not good. Well, as everyone's realizing, it's very confusing.
It delivers a good product, but how it calculates our credit is interesting. So at the same time, Anthropic has been racing to secure more compute capacity, even announcing major infrastructure partnerships to expand Claude's available resources. That's the challenge facing every company, right? Every AI company is chasing the same: more compute, more GPUs, more RAM, more storage. It's what's making the price for all of our stuff really high.
You think that you would, but that's on them to name it 5X, 20X.
Yeah, right. It's truth in advertising, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the company Ray-Ban out of Des Moines, the t-shirt company.
Okay.
Not a big fan of their company, whatever. But
one of these next episodes, we're going to go through some positive companies John enjoys.
But they just got sued by some stupid law company out of DC because they put on the shirt, I bought this shirt on sale. That was what was on the shirt.
That's all the shirt said.
That's all the shirt said.
How can you get sued for that?
Because it's an advertising term, and it's if the shirt truly isn't on sale, then you can't say it's on sale.
Oh, like you would have had to mark it up and put it back to the price you wanted to sell them.
They didn't actually lose the lawsuit. They ended up paying the people to go away. And I think things like that are bullshit, right? Like, obviously the shirt was meant to be funny.
Yeah.
Right. And some money hungry law firm out of DC decided to sue them because they put some funny slogan on a shirt.
Interesting.
Stupid is what it was. And rightfully so. Raygun doesn't have the budget to fight some DC law firm.
So if you had a shirt that said "here for the beer," is that a problem?
And there's no beer here?
Yeah.
Oh, I would sue you for that. So users want unlimited AI, but the GPUs delivering the AI is very much not unlimited. So this isn't really just an Anthropic story. Everyone's going through the same growing pains in the frontier AI models.
I was like, I just think this is like the beginning of lawsuits.
So how do you service a product when one customer costs you hundreds of times more than the other? So a normal SaaS company where you provide like, I don't know, some web page to let you enter data, right? They don't have a problem like that. They can control the usage and what the person can put in and all of that, right? So that's kind of the build out is slower. An AI coding agent, on the other hand, can consume more compute in a few hours than a normal chatbot might consume in an entire month. So this is a constant tug of war between the predictable subscription pricing and the actual cost and customers' expectations. It's a big pull.
And I don't know how you could differentiate to know who's going to use what when.
Right. And I don't know what'll happen with the lawsuit. Obviously, we've seen, like we said before, unlimited cell phone data plans. They still offer unlimited data, but now there's an asterisk that said they're going to slow you down after so many gigs.
I am sure somewhere it's written somehow that you wouldn't understand.
Yeah. Right. But regardless of the legal outcomes of it, this highlights how the AI industry is, the challenge for the AI industry. I mean, it's obvious. Like when I sit down and I write code for an entire day and I'm heavy into Claude Code, I'm obviously consuming more compute than Matt, who's throwing a legal document in and saying, read this and summarize it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So customers increasingly depend on these tools for work, software development, research, and business operations. But when the usage limits change or aren't clearly communicated, people feel like critical business tools suddenly become unusable.
Well, I mean, what if you're sitting there like, all right, I can't work now for another 4 hours.
I'm stuck here until my usage returns. So the companies that win the next phase of AI may not simply be the ones with the smartest models. They may be the ones that explain their pricing and usage limits in a way that ordinary people understand. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthropic's lawsuit is not really about tokens. It's about trust. Customers are willing to pay $100 or even $200 for AI if they understand what they're getting.
Correct.
I mean, $200 for AI for the workflow that it gives me is worth every penny.
Correct.
So, but as AI subscriptions become business critical, vague promises and complicated quota systems are likely to face increasing scrutiny, not just from customers, but now from the courts.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I think it's important as we start trusting AI in our workflows, AI needs to be there.
Yeah. I was like, you need to have that reliability.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to Keith. He went to PAX 8. I don't know how to describe PAX 8, but they sell us licensing.
Okay.
Anyways, he went to a conference and I don't know, I think he said it was the CEO or something of SentinelOne, one of the companies. Anyways, they were talking about putting AI workflow into jobs.
Okay.
And the companies that are failing are the ones that are pulling the people completely out of the mix. And the ones that are succeeding are letting AI do most of the work, but then having human reviewers.
Yeah. Have that human element.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about this week after week. And one week we'll talk about how this company let so many people go. And then the next week we'll talk about how this company hired a whole bunch of people back.
Starbucks in their cups.
I do want to go on a rant about Iowa real quick.
All right.
Let's
do this.
So I was just reading that the state IT, so the IT for the executive branch of the government, outsourced. They outsourced to a company that hires mostly H-1B visas. Now, while I don't have a problem with H-1B visas, I don't. I have a problem with executive branch documents and executive branch tech being outsourced to people that aren't from the United States, and especially not from Iowa.
Yeah,
I think Iowa knowledge should stay in Iowa. And the idea, and granted, they had 200 people working for the executive branch. I don't know what the hell 200 IT people were doing.
Did they all get let go?
That's too many. First off, the first question we should have asked ourselves is, could we do it with less?
Yeah.
But the idea that we're outsourcing this to some company that outsources their techs to other countries, I don't like. And I think that it's a huge mistake. And that's my piece on that.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, I think it's already done. The company that they outsourced to guaranteed that the people working on Iowa's account would be from Iowa. I don't believe it.
How could they guarantee that?
Yeah, I don't believe it unless they hired those 200 people, which I'm sure they didn't.
No.
So, anyways, that's my thing on that. I think that all of that was bullshit, and it should be reversed right away.
Yeah, or find someone in Iowa to do it.
Yep. 712-584-2024 A&P here to help. All right.
Heading to the Capitol today.
Anthropic pulls Claude Fable 5. So just last week, we were talking about the release of Claude Fable.
Yes.
And by Friday, 5:30 p.m.
No, it just says it's you can go.
Eastern Standard Time, they pulled it. Can't use it anymore.
Yep, just says it's unavailable.
Just days after unveiling what is described as the most capable public AI model ever, Anthropic has done something almost unheard of in the AI industry. It pulled the model. So Anthropic confirmed it has suspended access to Claude 5, telling customers it was doing so in response to a U.S. government directive. You can see where I'm going on this one.
Yep.
Even Anthropic's own release notes now state that the notes state that the access has been suspended while the company works to restore availability. So first off, what is Fable 5? We've talked about it in the past, but quick rundown. So Fable 5's a big deal. Anthropic launched it on June 9 as the first publicly available version of its Mythos class AI system. The idea was simple. Take an incredibly capable Mythos model and wrap it in enough safeguards that businesses and consumers could safely use it. Anthropic described Fable 5 as a Mythos class model made safe for general use, but less than a week later, it was gone. So, according to Reuters, Wall Street Journal, and other, the U.S. government raised national security concerns about the model's cybersecurity capabilities and the possibility that safety restrictions could be bypassed. The resulting export control restrictions were so broad that Anthropic chose to disable the system rather than trying to selectively block users. What that means is that the government in the United States didn't want foreign people to be accessing the model, but that included foreigners inside of the United States. So that's hard to police.
Yeah.
So the irony here is hard to miss. Anthropic spent years positioning itself as AI companies most focused on they were most focused on safety. Then it releases a model specifically designed to be a safer public version of its most powerful system. And within days, the government effectively said, not safe enough. Anthropic argues the vulnerabilities are minor and comparable to capabilities already available in other advanced AI models. Government officials and some industry leaders disagree. This may be a first glimpse of a future where frontier AI models face controls similar to advanced weapons technology. So,
do you think that's just like a threat that you got to take it down? Is it like a law you have to take it down?
We're going to get into exactly what happened.
Okay.
This first part of this article really doesn't talk about what happened, but I found a post that went in depth and why this gets even crazier.
Okay.
So it goes so much deeper than what I'm telling you right now. I'm giving you like the 30,000 foot view, but it goes so much deeper. So governments are now beginning to treat the most capable AI systems as strategic assets. If a model can discover vulnerabilities, automate security research, accelerate scientific work, or potentially aid cyber attacks, regulators must decide that releasing it globally is not just a business decision anymore. And that's a huge shift in the industry, which I think is bullshit, because just because the government says you can't have this AI model doesn't mean it's not in the hands of other people.
Yes.
So literally they're not giving it to us because they're afraid they're afraid somebody else is going to get access to it.
They're afraid of a John Hass getting their hands on
but I
it.
mean, not even that. It's just they don't want some foreign national that has bad intentions with the United States getting access to this model and doing awful things. Well, the thing is that the person probably already has access to something like that.
Yeah.
And all the U.S. is doing is making research from people like us, normal people, making it harder to do. And I find that is terrible. So for years, the question was, which company builds the smartest model? Now new questions are emerging is, which models will governments allow companies to deploy? The Anthropic situation suggests that regulatory approval may become just as important as technical capability. A model that scores high on benchmarks doesn't help much if regulators won't let you ship it.
Oh, correct.
So, Claude Fable 5 was supposed to showcase Anthropic's vision for a safe frontier AI. Instead, it became one of the shortest lived major model releases we've ever seen. The company introduced its flagship public model, faced backlash over restrictions, and found itself in a dispute with the US government that resulted in the model being taken offline entirely. If you're wondering why SN, the guy from Microsoft, because I'm not going to try to say his name again, comments about companies owning their own learning loops resonated so strongly this week, this is why. Because if you would have built everything on Fable and then Anthropic pulls the model,
Yeah.
then what?
True.
So owning the learning loop, back to the first story,
Yep.
is important. When the most advanced AI models can be turned off by government order, the real long-term asset may not be the model itself. It may be everything you built on top of it. So, deeper dive into what happens. So I'm just going to read this verbatim, and then we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Amazon invested $8 billion in Anthropic. It is, to date, Anthropic's biggest investor. Amazon's researchers jailbroke Fable 5. Then Andy Jassy, dude from Amazon, personally called the White House. Now I'm picturing something cool like a red phone.
Yeah. Like, get me the president.
Ring. Called the White House Thursday night. By Friday at 5:20 p.m., Anthropic got a letter. Models shut down by Friday evening. At least 5 other companies also called senior administration officials Thursday and Friday morning. The security expert Anthropic shared the report with said the jailbreak was researchers asking questions defenders would normally ask AI. Called the government response way out of line with what's actually in the research report. Amazon sells a competing AI model. Amazon, again, invested in Anthropic. Amazon jailbroke Anthropic's model. Amazon called the White House. Anthropic got shut down. Amazon's models were not shut down. The administration said other models don't pose security threat. Amazon sells those models. This is the cleanest conflict of interest in Silicon Valley history, and it happened in 48 hours.
Can you Google like the White House phone number? Like, who they calling?
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you that other people have better access than we do.
I guess.
Could you imagine if I had the phone number to somebody who would answer at the White House?
I bet they changed their phone number.
Oh my gosh.
Bet you wouldn't have it long.
But I mean, the real thing here is that Amazon, who has a vested interest in Anthropic being successful, got them shut down. They also sell competing models.
Hey, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. So here's another one that will get me all worked up. The UK just banned social media for under 16s. Now,
Why is this going to get you all worked up?
while I don't have a problem with limiting time on devices and social media for children, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with the government doing it automatically.
Okay.
It's my job as a parent to decide what my kids can and can't do.
Correct.
It's not the government's job.
I know where you're going now. Okay.
Oh no, it gets way worse than that.
All right. I don't know where you're going.
All right. And one of the most aggressive internet regulations ever attempted by a Western democracy, the United Kingdom has announced that children under 16 will be banned from major social media platforms. Prime Minister Tyrant Keir Starmer, I don't plan on going to the UK, so I can say these things. Keir Starmer says the move is designed to give kids their childhood back and protect them from addictive algorithms, harmful content, and online predators. The platforms expected to be covered include TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, X, and YouTube, along with restrictions on live streaming and communicating with strangers. Did you use, back in the day, like, we had AOL because they had phone numbers that we could access.
Yeah.
And one of the big things back then was
ICQ. That's what it was.
So one of the big things back in the AOL days was chat rooms.
Yeah.
And one of the things, you know, you would write ASL. You know what that means? You do A/S/L. age, sex, language. So how old you are, male, female, language you speak.
That's how you said hello?
Yeah, when you were talking to somebody.
Oh.
But the thing about the internet back then.
No one lied back then?
The thing about the internet then is you could create someone who didn't exist.
Okay.
So age, sex, location, not language, location. So anybody listening who's going to roast me, make sure you clip all of this, Logan.
I'm just doing the first part.
But you could invent somebody different. And that was one of the beauties of that. So one of the guys that originally invented RSS, which is just a way to get news articles, right? Was 13 years old. But nobody knew that until he went to one of the first RSS conferences. And he was the one writing the spec for RSS.
Yeah.
So back in the day, you could invent somebody that didn't exist based on your hobbies, based on what you were interested in. You could be an expert in that.
Or a complete creeper.
I was talking more about young kids, like
being able to
interested
do other things.
Interested in their hobbies. Now, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, and when Australia did it and all this other stuff. I mean, YouTube is full of shit videos, but it's also full of some of the best human knowledge that exists in the world exists on YouTube. And limiting children's access to something like that is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not even why I'm mad about this. So one thing you don't notice about this list, did you notice that Blue Sky is not on it? Now, are you familiar with Blue Sky?
I'm like, you'd have to tell me what Blue Sky is.
So Jack Dorsey created Twitter, right?
Yep.
And then he was on the board, and then Elon Musk bought them for $44 billion. Okay, so now Jack Dorsey doesn't own Twitter anymore, so he created Blue Sky. So it's similar to Twitter, except it's more moderated than so like they won't put up with you saying the things that you can say on X.
So you're not on Blue Sky?
I am not on Blue Sky. Plus the instances of CSAM are really high on Blue Sky. They've hired more moderators because of it.
Okay.
It's a big deal. And the fact that it's not on this list of blocked social media is
it just because
crazy.
It's not like a popular one?
So they can control that might be the idea, right?
You know what I mean?
However, last I knew, there were 44 million users on Blue Sky. That's not zero.
No, that's not zero.
So, and I wouldn't even call that low. The thing is that when you can control the information, you can control the people. Yeah. And that's and Jack Dorsey's version of Twitter, he had huge moderation teams that controlled what people said. Whether you agreed or not doesn't matter. If he didn't agree or the moderation team didn't agree, you were banned.
Why do you want to be on this?
I don't. But
no, I meant anyone.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, the thing is there's plenty of people that want content moderation.
Okay.
They want what they're interested in front of their face.
I get like wanting to see stuff that you agree with.
Yeah. And
but then realizing that you're not going to ever see anything that.
There's plenty of people that want to live in their bubble.
Okay.
So, and seeing things that makes them mad, makes them uncomfortable, and they don't like being uncomfortable. And
I mean, I get it.
I don't. So, like you said, Blue Sky might just be small enough that, it doesn't matter, but I don't agree with that.
My guess is it's going to come down to even more regulations.
Okay. So here's why I'm going to get really mad.
Okay.
I'm not even there yet.
Oh.
So the bigger story isn't which app is exempt. It's that governments are increasingly willing to regulate social media the same way they regulate alcohol, gambling, tobacco, and other age-restricted products. Just a few years ago, the idea that a democratic country would tell a 15-year-old they cannot have an Instagram or TikTok account would have sounded politically impossible. Now, Australia's done it. Indonesia's done it. Malaysia's done it. And now the UK is on the list. Of course, the obvious question is how do you actually stop a teenager from signing up? The government's answer is stronger age verification. This is the part. Proposals include facial age estimation, digital identity systems, verification through financial records, and other forms of age assurance overseen by Ofcom. That's like a UK government thing. Critics point out that kids have historically been good at finding ways around online restrictions. VPN usage, borrowed credentials, and alternative platforms could make enforcement difficult. Some experts argue that the ban could simply push younger users onto smaller, less regulated services. Now, okay, let's ignore the fact that they want to age verify 16 and unders, right? Let's ignore that.
Yeah.
But do you know what else that means? That means they have to identify 17 and olders.
Yeah.
What they're doing here and not saying it is they are creating a huge database of social media users. The government is keeping a huge database of social media users, their identifications, their locations, everything about them. All I can say is this. 30 years ago, the UK gave up their guns, and now they have to give their ID to use social media.
It doesn't sound worth it.
This,
not now, not ever.
This is some of the most dystopian, disgusting things I've ever seen. And it's so blatantly obvious what the UK is doing. It has nothing to do with 16 and unders. It has all to do with being able to spy on their entire population. That's what it has to do with.
I don't like the fact of giving
the UK
any sort of facial.
The UK is coming to people's houses and arresting them for saying things that they don't agree with online. It's actually happening.
Is that illegal?
Yes. Hate speech, things that you don't agree with, like some things that people say hate speech. But I mean, hate speech, there really is no definition of hate speech. Something that I say you might not like, and something that you say I might not like.
Yeah.
But it's like, do they qualify as hate speech or not? It's all up to a judge. No, it's not. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Yeah, okay, it's not freedom of consequence. You can yell fire in a crowded theater if the theater is on fire.
Yeah.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater when nobody's in, when there's no fire, and if somebody gets hurt, that's your fault.
Yeah.
This is awful.
I don't disagree. It'll be interesting to see what rolls to the US eventually.
You want to talk about an uprising? Try to do this in the US.
You don't think they will
try to limit what people say online? People will just quit.
Yeah.
Like, or there'll be plenty of companies that go into the underground and are just like, yeah, I don't care what the government says. It'll push innovation out of that country to somewhere else that allows it.
True.
So it's stupid, it's dystopian, and the UK is a silly place. So it's not ending there, though. The UK is actually looking at restrictions on AI companions and AI romantic chatbots for minors, reflecting broad concern that algorithmic systems are becoming increasingly influential in child's lives. Just a few years ago, governments were debating screen time. Now they're debating whether teenagers should be allowed to form relationships with AI.
Why does it matter to them?
Yeah. Well, what right does the government think they have to tell me, one, how to raise my children, and two, that I have to give an ID to use a site as an adult?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So the UK's move represents one of the strongest attempts yet to redraw the boundaries between childhood and internet. The real question isn't whether one platform survives the crackdown. The real question is whether governments can successfully age-gate the internet at all.
We'll see. I would be really impressed on if you were able to age-gate the entire internet.
You can't.
Well,
I mean, I could shortcut that story for you real fast, Logan. You can't.
Well, that's what I mean.
You can't age-gate the internet.
Go put all these rules
we've been lying about our age on the internet since the internet existed.
I would have lied for my kids' shit so they could get access to different things on their phones.
It is your job to raise your children, not the government. They aren't the government's kids. They're your kids.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out for them.
Don't give up your guns. Arch Linux can't catch a break. Another supply chain attack hits the AUR. And since I've talked about this, or since I wrote this yesterday, 1,500 more packages have been identified. So if you're an Arch Linux user, you probably heard the joke. I use Arch, by the way. This is a real thing. This week, the joke became, I hope you're checking your package builds. I know, geek jokes. But Arch Linux, if you don't know what about Arch Linux is, it's a Linux distribution like Ubuntu or Debian or those, and it's just more complicated to use, and so people that use it make sure to tell you that they're using it. So Arch Linux is dealing with yet another major security incident after attackers compromised more than 400 packages. So what a package is applications. So I need this program, and what the maintainers do is they say, okay, I want to use this package. I want to use LibreOffice, let's say. So they compile it up, and they take the package, and they say, this package depends on these packages. Install all of these and install this, and then you'll have your LibreOffice, right?
Okay.
So it's just a way that you can get applications on your computer, but you don't have to compile them from source.
Okay.
They're already pre-compiled. So like when you run a program on your Mac, it's already compiled. You don't have to compile it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to
Look
do.
at the code and make install. Boy, you want to talk about the way that you would kill the computer industry is make everyone have to compile from source.
Most people would use it.
So more than 400 packages of the Arch user repository turning, that's how many packages were hit. Now there's 1,500 more, turning trusted community packages into malware delivery mechanisms. Arch maintainers spent days removing malicious commits, banning accounts, and cleaning up affected packages. According to researchers, the attackers targeted abandoned or lightly maintained AUR packages and modified them to pull malicious code during installations. This is particularly clever is the package itself doesn't look malicious. Instead, the malicious behavior was hidden inside the build scripts and downstream dependencies. That's what I was talking about, like certain packages require other packages in order for it to work.
Okay.
So they made some big package. Let's say LibreOffice wasn't one of them, but let's just say it was LibreOffice. They would say LibreOffice depends on this package, and that dependency contained the vulnerability.
Okay.
Or when you install a package, sometimes you need to run a script that says, when you're done running this, copy these files here, and then make this change to this file.
Yeah.
So it runs post-installation scripts, basically. And so they did something to that. And that's been a pretty common way with the other vulnerabilities that have been going on, like the NPM ones and stuff. The post-installation is what's been like stealing keys and downloading the bad package. So everything looks normal.
Yeah.
And then it downloads a bad package and runs that, and that's what causes the problem.
Okay.
So like I said, it was hidden in build scripts or downstream dependencies, making it difficult for casual users to notice anything unusual. Security researchers have dubbed the campaign Atomic Arch. I like how they have to name everything.
Everything gets named.
Everything gets named. The attack leveraged trust in the AUR ecosystem rather than exploiting a bug in Arch Linux itself. So it's two separate things. So the official Arch Linux repositories were not compromised. So if you stayed within the official packages, none of those were compromised. What was compromised was the Arch user repository. So what that means is sometimes the people that build the distribution don't include all the packages you want.
Okay.
So you have to include another library for other packages that you might want. So the maintainers of Arch Linux say, these are the packages we use. These are the ones we maintain. What maintaining means is they have to write patches, keep track for security vulnerabilities. And there's only so much bandwidth that people have to do all of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they pick these packages, and then they let the community maintain the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still a very highly trusted and respected community. So it's not like they're just stupid people that are doing it. No, they're very smart and very talented people. But anyways, so it's community maintained, and it's a collection of build recipes and packages. Arch maintainers have repeatedly emphasized the official repositories remain unaffected. So the distinction on this matters, but it also highlights one of the realities of modern Linux systems. Many users install far more software from community repositories than from official repositories. Obviously, I said that. But the thing is I know so attackers probably know that too. So the timing is notable because 2026 has been a brutal year for software supply chain security across the industry. And we've talked about that episode after episode after episode, these supply chain attacks. So the NPM compromise, which I mentioned early, there's a PyPy compromise, Red Hat NPM packages, and multiple credential theft campaigns through targeting maintainers. So you get into a maintainer, then when they package their product and push it, anybody who installs that
is now compromised.
So attackers increasingly don't attack operating systems directly. They attack trust. Why spend months finding a kernel exploit when you can compromise a maintainer account and have users install the malware themselves?
Speed up the process.
So for Linux users, and I want to touch on this one because I had forgotten about this until I wrote this story. I had forgotten about this, but I want to talk about this because what I wrote here doesn't do it justice. So for Linux users, this feels uncomfortably familiar. The industry is still recovering from the infamous XZ-Utils backdoor attempt, where attackers spent years gaining trust of the open source project before nearly inserting a backdoor into one of the most widely used Linux compression libraries. Researchers continue to study that incident as one of the most sophisticated open source supply chain attacks ever discovered. The lesson from XZ was simple. The weakest point in open source isn't the code, it's the humans maintaining it. Okay, so I want to talk about the XZ backdoor real quick.
Okay.
Because this is a story for the ages. Okay, so XZ is a compression library. So compression, think zip files.
Yep.
That's the best I can tell you. It's like zip files.
Okay.
XZ, the library, gets built into a lot of different products on Linux, right? And so these Chinese researchers or Chinese people or whatever spent years providing patches and working in the XZ library until one day they inserted a backdoor. Okay. Nobody caught it because these guys had spent years probably working for the government, Chinese government, gaining the trust of this library.
Yeah.
Okay. There was some SSH maintainer. OpenSSH is a protocol we use to connect to systems remotely, that had so much autism that he caught a 0.5 millisecond delay in getting the password prompt for SSH that caused him to investigate what was going on, realized that these Chinese open source people had inserted a backdoor, and that 0.5 millisecond delay was the backdoor executing.
That's awesome.
Could you imagine that level? I mean, for me, 0.5 millisecond, I wouldn't even notice.
No, you're probably looking at something else.
Yes. he's just like, wow, that's really weird. It's really slow. 0.5 millisecond.
That's nuts.
That story is like, I don't know the dude's name. I don't know if he's autistic or not. It just like that focus. That much focus and that much attention to detail that he noticed a 0.5 millisecond delay when getting the password prompt to open SSH when compiled against that version of XZ.
That's impressive.
So
kudos to him.
Yeah, it was like I say, that one instance of them getting working hard to gain the trust of everyone in the community for years, submitting patches dutifully.
Yeah.
All of that until the one day they tried to drop it and then get caught by an autist that caught 0.5 milliseconds.
What users? Like, ooh, that doesn't look right.
So Arch Linux has always embraced a philosophy of user responsibility. Yeah, they have, because you're not getting support because it's a very difficult distribution to run. That flexibility is one of the reasons enthusiasts love it, but it also means users often pull software from sources that involve varying levels of review and maintenance. The AUR has been incredibly successful because it allows almost anything to be packaged quickly. The downside is that scale makes auditing difficult. When thousands of packages are maintained by volunteers, attackers only need a handful that nobody is watching closely. The response from the Arch community was fast. Maintainers identified malicious packages, removed compromised content, reset affected repositories, and banned accounts involved. The public incident thread shows the community members actively reporting newly discovered malicious packages as the cleanup progressed. This is one of the strengths of open source. Problems are often visible and very quick. So again, Arch remains one of the most respected Linux distributions around, but this latest incident is a reminder that the modern cybersecurity isn't just about protecting the operating system anymore. It's about protecting the entire software supply chain. In 2026, the most dangerous malware may not arrive through an exploit. It may arrive through an update button. And whether you're running Arch, Linux, Windows, Mac OS, NPM, PyPy, Docker, or AI models, the lesson keeps repeating. Trust is now one of the most valuable and most frequently attacked resources in technology. And that is what I have for you today.
You just sounded like you're just spitting out so many different letters and things. Like, yep. I'm sure everyone caught all of it.
I hope everyone out there knows I don't have that much hate in my heart for stuff. I do enjoy life, and I enjoy doing this podcast, and I enjoy researching this podcast. And, you know, I don't hate everything.
No, just the stories you got an opinion on.
Well, I mean, I always figure, you know, doing stories where I'm disgusted by something, people enjoy those more. If everyone just agreed with me, it would be boring.
True.
So
life would be boring.
Yeah.
Question for you is, what is one service AMP offers that you feel like everyone should have?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, there's a couple, and it depends on your business or home. But the most simple and effective thing that you can have that we sell is simply not so much antivirus, but EDR, MDR.
You're going to say what that is.
Yeah. So EDR, I don't know what the acronyms stand for. Basically, it detects things that are uncommon. So a virus scanner will take a file, run it through a list, make a hash, run it through a list. If it finds a matching hash, it's a virus.
Yep.
EDR and MDR go deeper. And what they do is say, okay, every day this user does spreadsheets, Word document, whatever, but today they open the command prompt. I don't think so. That's not common for that user to do that. Block it.
Yep.
Right. Threat Locker, of course, we've talked about Threat Locker in the past.
Yep.
It's just a deny by default. And I think that even if you as the user had control of Threat Locker and were able to unlock things, what Threat Locker does for somebody like you is gives you a second guess.
Yeah.
Right. All of a sudden, you know, you try to open something that you think that you use every day and it doesn't open. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. I don't use that every day. That's a different program that wasn't there before or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So it gives you that gut check.
Yep.
And so that is the simplest thing to protect yourself from bad things, stealing things getting stolen. I mean, bank accounts getting broken into and money stolen is a real thing that happens.
Yep.
It's not just a fairy tale. I mean, you know, one of the scams that we see is when you'll get a call from your bank or a company and they'll say, you sent us X number of dollars. It was too much, or we sent you this and then you have to refund it back. And what they'll do is they'll ask you what your bank is and they'll make it look like you're logged into your bank, or they'll have you log into your bank.
Yep.
And then they'll edit the HTML of the bank to show that your balance is X higher.
Yep.
To convince you to go to the bank to withdraw money and wire it to them, or buy crypto and send it to them, which
Yep.
is obviously irreversible.
Don't ever do that.
Don't do that. Your boss will never ask you for a gift card.
True.
Or if they do, they'll ask you in person. And then if they ask you for 50 gift cards, you need to say, who asked you for 50 gift cards? But yeah, no, just take a step back. The simplest, best thing that anyone could have that we offer is some type of protection that's a little bit better than an antivirus.
Yes.
So that's what I got. That's my answer.
Perfect.
All right. Well, everybody, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah.
Catch you next time.
See you next time.